circulation was going to be crossing over Highway 5 in just a matter of minutes. There it is. So this is on top of Heiberger now. This is the main part of the storm. The rotation is here. You're getting this rain curtain wrapping around the backside of it. And there's a new warning that was just posted for northern Perry and for Bibb County. Going to step over and take a look at the text on that. And Harmony, if you want to jump in at any moment when you see new information, just go ahead. I'm not going to stop you.
It was just a moment away from what you had just said. It was 12:15 right now. That new warning that came out at 12:14. So just 1 minute ago. Severe thunderstorm right now that we're watching. Oh, I see the camera here. It's located right now near Heiberger, near Marion. It's moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So, in fact, we've seen these storms slow down just a bit. Still, flying debris, this is one of the main concerns here. If you're in a mobile home, finding your safe place right now is likely the key. We're talking about areas including Centerville, Talladega National Forest, Randolph, as well as Trio and Ellards, Bibb County Airport. This is no joke. The tornado watch that we're seeing right now, it continues until 5 o'clock, and they've extended that watch, Jason, until 5 o'clock just for the counties that are along the I-65 corridor. And so we'll really have to see how some of these storms perform. I think Stephanie, Jason, and myself are just seeing that the rain, as it all comes together and congeals, it will continue to make it very difficult for folks to see some of these tornadoes visually. So another message just came down from the tornado warning. It said that there's the possibility of hail, so maybe even quarter-size hail in Perry until 12:45. So the next 30 minutes, they're going to continue that tornado warning that right now is near Uniontown. It's moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Any additional information continues to be preparations. These thunderstorms continue to be tornadic, and there's just a lot of lightning. These are massive lightning producers, so there has to be hail. The tornado warning, it continues until 12:45, so that's another 30 minutes of time. Marion, Uniontown, Perry County Correctional Center, as well, Judson College. That's huge. Many college students heading back to school and maybe trying to get in, some of the stuff back into the dorm, but you can't do that on a day like this. Judson College, anybody that is near areas closer to Radford too, take cover now. This is a new tornado warning that just came out that includes Perry County. Jason, did you see any more information there about these warnings?
No, fortunately, there's no confirmation. There are no debris signatures that we can see at this moment, but we're talking at 12:17. That doesn't apply at 12:18. As we watch this evolve, it's the southern part of this massive thunderstorms that's going to have the greatest potential for severe weather. Weather's awful up here through Fayette County and Walker County, Tuscaloosa, and it's getting worse in Jefferson County too with the heavy rain coming in. But there's this one area of intense thunderstorms that have been showing signs of rotation now for the better part of an hour and a half, coming from Marengo County now through Perry County and into Bibb County. And in Bibb County, our concern here is that a tornado could come and it would be completely rain-wrapped. This is not the kind of thing that you can stand on the front porch and see. It's not the kind of thing that we need folks out there chasing. You need to be indoors, away from windows as this is moving in. It does not impact places like Woodstock or over toward Yolen. You're not in this warning. You're in a watch for the entire afternoon, but the warning is for one specific point, and just as a reminder, that's how this whole process works. We start out with the outlooks, then we work down to the watch, which is where most of us are. The action comes when the warning is issued, and Bibb, you're under the warning now, and we're watching Shelby County and Chilton County down the line as this is getting a little bit closer into those communities. So let's go back in close here and look and see the progress of our storm that has come north of Heiberger now, and you're looking at a lot of rain. There's the circulation as it came over Heiberger, and now it is over the Cahaba River coming up toward the southern part of Bibb County. I'm going to go in very, very tight here. We'll stop the radar animation and zoom in right on top of the Cahaba River because I think this is where the potential is greatest for a tornado. So there's Alabama Highway 5. It is now northeast of Heiberger, coming almost parallel to the Cahaba. May have crossed it, and now it's coming toward the southern part of Bibb County. So we're going to call out a few county roads here. Talladega National Forest Road, Harrisburg Road, Abercrombie Road, Alabama Highway 219 near the Bibb-Perry County line. You need to be in that safe place right now. Now, look at this. There's a spot here where there's not that much activity going on. You may get a break in the rain, and then all of a sudden this strong wind picks up. There may not be a visible funnel if it's down on the ground because there's so much rain here. But the bottom line is we need you to be in place. We need you to be protecting yourself and your family in this potentially dangerous situation over Bibb and northern Perry counties. Again, we're looking at this mainly between Highway 5 and Alabama Highway 219 right here, Abercrombie Road, Harrisburg Road, over to Martin Road, and then farther northeast of there, Hurricane Road and Liberty Road would be communities right around those neighborhoods that we need you to be in that safe place. We're going to bounce the map out here just a little bit. We'll zoom out and give you the larger view so that you can see where this is in relation to Centerville. Centerville's there. The rotation here does not look as strong as it did. That doesn't mean that it's not down on the ground. It just means it doesn't look quite like it did farther downstream. And it's tracking northeast like this. It will probably stay on the east side of the Cahaba River through southern Bibb County. But if you're on the west bank, see the warning right there goes right up to the west bank of the Cahaba River. The communities, Centerville, south along the Cahaba, down Highway 5 and points east, those are the areas where we think the danger would be the greatest from this. We'll take a look here and see if there's any sort of sign of debris, and I just don't see it here. Maybe a little hint of something being lofted up there, but sometimes that can just be data that comes in from hailstones or some other things that may be up in that thunderstorm that are not debris. There's no clear indication of debris on radar here. We'll even loop this and go back the last few minutes, and you can see it looks mainly noisy, although that is a spot that would need to be watched as it's approaching the Bibb County line. That's where the debris would be if this thing is down on the ground. So this is the reflectivity from Birmingham. We're looking at it from a slightly different perspective from the Shelby County Airport. The rotation right there on top of the Cahaba River, and it's tracking northeast at about 45 miles per hour. I'm going to put your storm track up here in just a moment, but there's the rotation. It's almost completely into Bibb County from Perry County. So Marion, Heiberger, the threat from that storm is over for that part of Perry County, but you are under a tornado watch, and I think there's potential that additional warnings could be issued a little bit later on, but the risk of a tornado is now greatest in southern Bibb County. So let's go in close here and take a look right along the county line. You can see it on WVTM 13 Live Doppler, and I like to go back and forth here because it makes it easy to see the entire picture when you're looking at it from more than one vantage point. That's one of the great advantages of having a live radar is getting that live vantage. There's the Cahaba River. Here's the National Forest Road, Harrisburg Road, Hickory Hollow Road, Abercrombie Road, tracking northeast along the Cahaba River right up toward Hickory Hollow Road and Abercrombie Road in southern Bibb County. It's going to stay very close to or just east of the river as it moves up through Bibb. So if you are just on the west side of the river watching, I'm not clearing you from this. I just think the greatest threat of wind damage is going to be on the east side of the Cahaba coming up toward Abercrombie Road and Hickory Hollow Road. So let's come out here and bounce the view out and do a storm track on this to give you some updated times of arrival. And sure enough, looks like we've got a pretty good indication of a tornado right there. You can even see it in the live data tracking northeast toward the southern part of Bibb County. We'll move the map around just enough here to get us a good picture of a storm track. And as we're looking at this, remember that as we track these out, the fan is going to get wider than the actual storm path to show the potential for some deviation in the track just a bit. So about 45 miles per hour, if it maintains that path, 6 Mile, Bibb Mill, and Ashby would be in the path of it, and it would come very, very close to the Shelby, Chilton County line, just a bit south of Montevallo and Wilton, and northwest of Jemison and Thorsby. So it would split the difference between those if it maintains that intensity. The storm is coming that way. The question is, will it continue to show this kind of rotation and be tornadic by the time it gets to that point? So 2 tornado warnings in effect right now for central Alabama, one in Bibb and one in Perry. Harmony?
I was just going to mention, they are continuing to kind of hammer down the fact that that rotation is broad, but we've been watching the same exact area, Jason, right? It's kind of shaping and unfolding, and I think that the daytime heating may be playing a pretty big role in this, but I just wanted give you an update that there hasn't been anything new in the past, at least 10 minutes from the National Weather Service chat. I think they're maybe reevaluating, but I think this is the same line that we've been watching upstream, like you mentioned. We're looking at Columbiana in Centerville. Let him take a break just for a moment and reset and probably check some of his nerd tools over there. He's got his computer and he's not afraid to use it. Our WVTM 13 live Doppler radar is something that we really consider to be a valuable tool, but now we're talking about getting some information. Like I mentioned, 1224, just down from the National Weather Service, they have 2 reports of minor damage, including cedars in the roadway from Galleon. Right now, this is the fire department. So the Galleon Volunteer Fire Department, that's from John DeBlock. He's from the National Weather Service. So that was just 1 minute ago. They are now saying that there has been some reports of some minor damage, including some cedars on the roadway. And that's one of the things that we have to watch out for. Even though it may not seem like it's your neighborhood, it could be a road that maybe you may travel, friends or family, back and forth from, the new year. It's still only the 3rd, and it's a Tuesday, and there still are several areas that are going to be under the gun until at least 5 o'clock. So we've got 5 more hours that we're going to see this tornado watch, and there have been reports of some trees down on the roadway. So that's in Galleon. That's from the Volunteer Fire Department. Jason?
All right, and that would be from that earlier storm, Harmony. That's in Marengo County. So that would not be from either of these two. And fortunately, we are looking at a situation that doesn't look quite as volatile as it maybe did out west of us yesterday. If you saw some of the damage that came in from Arkansas and Louisiana, we may end up with something similar later, but right now these storms are very, very messy looking, still dangerous. Just because they're messy doesn't mean they're dangerous. It just means they're not likely to be on that high end of the memorable kinds of storms that we've had around here in the past. And we can have these things in January. I realize it's just here in early January. We had that extreme cold outbreak a few weeks ago, and now here we are dealing with 70s and a tornado threat. That is extremely common when you have this big back and forth, and it's not likely to be the last time that we have to deal with something like this, because this threat actually goes through early tomorrow morning. We're taking it in chunks, though. We're under a tornado watch. We have a few tornado warnings now, and we will take this hour by hour, minute by minute, and keep you posted on it. In the short term here, we're dealing with this storm in Bibb County that has not continued to show that extremely intense rotation, but we've got good presentation here on WVTM 13 Live Doppler. There is the curvature that you look for, that hook. So it's now east of Highway 5, very close to the Cahaba River, completely into Bibb County now, by the way, and it's tracking northeast toward really right here over the refuge, and then toward the Cahaba River, Highway 219. You need to be in that safe place, and we're going to give you the all clear when this thing passes. Here are some of the roads that would be in the path of it: Abercrombie Road, Martin Road, County Highway 412 up toward the Elliott City area in the northeastern part of Bibb, or the eastern part of Bibb. And then to the south, I realize this is really close to Chilton, and it's really close to Shelby County too. We've got our eyes on those situations. You're not under a warning yet. It's a good idea to be aware of this. Always good to know what's happening out to your west and southwest on a day like this. But these particular storms, as they move northeast, there's a chance that they may start to lose some of that intensity. At least that's how it looks at the moment. They are still going to be intense storms, but they do not have the same kind of look that they had just a few minutes ago. And often that is a good sign. It doesn't completely get rid of the danger. It just means that maybe we are moving to a position where we're just dealing with heavy thunderstorms as opposed to those that would be producing life-threatening wind damage. So there's Bibb, there's Perry County, this is Chilton. Up here is Shelby. That black line right there, that's Shelby County. You've got Montevallo and Wilton right here. This is aimed at those communities, but right now, we have not extended, or the National Weather Service has not extended that tornado warning to the north because the circulation does seem to look a little bit less intense. There's clearly broad rotation throughout this entire complex of thunderstorms as we put this into motion, and you can see the path right up and just east of the Cahaba River. It may kind of unlatch itself from the Cahaba Basin right there and then come closer to Highway 219, moving farther and farther east of Alabama Highway 5. Centerville, in the warning on the southeast side of town. If you're downtown Centerville, your app didn't alert you. If you have a service that you pay for that's GPS, it probably didn't alert you because these things are based on your GPS position. If you're in Brent or Yolen or West Blockton or Woodstock, you also didn't get an alert on your app because you're not in the warning itself. The way that the technology works now is it only tells you if you're in the box. There are pros and cons to that, but the technology works based on your GPS location. So Southern Bibb has been alerted, mobile devices, the northern part of the county, you just need to be on alert because you're still under a tornado watch. There's where the circulation would be right now. It's tracking northeast across Bibb County. Let's go in close here and take a look and see what we've got now live. And again, this is south and east of the city of Centerville. The rotation still here, evident in the shape of the storm, but we can also look at it from the vantage point of using the storm relative velocity here. You clearly don't see the same kind of rotation. This is where it was just a few moments ago using the entire volume scan of the NexRad radar over the Shelby County Airport. So what was over the Cahaba is now up here. That's what you can see on live. So keep in mind where that is, and we'll switch back to the live radar, and you'll be able to see it. See it displaced now to the east and to the north just a little bit. So this is east of the Cahaba River, tracking northeast toward Alabama Highway 219. We'll go in close and look at some of the communities that will ultimately be in the path of this. So again, the squiggly line there is the Cahaba. There's Abercrombie Road, Highway 219, and then over toward County Road 308. You would be in the path of this. I want you to be in that safe place. If you're in northern Perry County, around Heiberger, watching us live stream or over the air, the risk from this storm is over for the Heiberger area. It is now clearly up into the southern part of Bibb County. The rotation is located right here. Let's go farther south, though, and we'll take a look in on that other storm, and you can see that polygon has been updated, and it goes right up to the Chilton County line, just to the west of Maplesville and Stanton. Let's go over to Harmony.
Well, I just wanted to keep you up to speed here, Jason. It's always nice to know how long this is going to last, right? And they did issue from the Storm Prediction Center a new update, and they are saying that the tornado risk is going to be ongoing. And so likely they're going to be expanding that tornado watch eastward and northeastward. So a new tornado watch is going to be issued likely within the next hour or so. And so I think before 2 o'clock, we're going to know whether or not they're going to extend that tornado watch for entire central Alabama. And so it was a race against time at a certain point. You can see Jason has the tornado watch pulled up right behind me. It was for most of central Alabama counties, but it did not include Etowah County. It did not include Calhoun and portions of St. Clair. But now the Storm Prediction Center is saying, you know what, this is the atmospheric conditions. It looks like we may be expanding within the hour that tornado watch eastward, and that could include all of central Alabama. And so right now what Jason's tracking are those 2 active tornado warnings moving into an environment that could potentially be favorable of development. And so this could continue at least until 5 o'clock, and we'll watch how that expands eastward, Jason.
Yeah, and if you're not under the watch at this point, it's just a matter of time, we think, especially with these southern storms. Now, the north storms here, these that are in Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Walker, Fayette, over Smith Lakes, Winston and Cullman County, those storms are not severe, but they are electric. They have a lot of lightning with them. And, I mean, you can see this, just a almost continuous lightning around Carbon Hill and down toward Berry and Fayette County. We still got lightning going on in Marion County. And then a lot of lightning, and more so really clustered around where these storms are developing through Perry and Bibb and then headed toward Chilton and Shelby counties. This is the zone to watch for central Alabama over the next 2 hours. If you're in Shelby County or Chilton County, you're under a tornado watch, I need you to be a little more alert than just a tornado watch, because as the storms are headed toward the northeast, they very well could impact these communities around Calera, Alabaster, Helena, Pelham, maybe over toward Chelsea, Columbiana, Jemison, Thorsby, Maplesville, Stanton, city of Clanton. You're not under a warning, but you need to be on alert, because these storms to the south, these 2 cells that have been rotating, they're headed right in your direction. Watch this as we put the radar into motion. You can watch them tracking toward the northeast. So while they're missing Tuscaloosa and apparently missing Birmingham for right now, other than just rain, thunder, and lightning, the severe weather threat will be maximized farther to the south because this is where we have the greatest instability matched up with the best wind, or sometimes I like to call it the muscle of the storm system. It's what gets the storms going. So Bibb County through Shelby County, Chilton County over the next 2 hours between now and 2:30 p.m., that's where the highest risk of severe weather would be here across the central section of the state. To the northwest, this is rough storms, and we may end up with some flash flooding here in Fayette and Walker counties because those storms are just training over the same areas. Same thing going up into southwest Cullman, but there's a gap in the action where we have intense storms to the north, just a good batch of rain here in the middle toward Tuscaloosa County and Jefferson County, and then the severe weather threat that is ongoing farther down to the south. So let's go in close here, back into Bibb County, see if we can clear a community or two from the concern of that first storm. You can see the lightning here, and one of the signs that we look for rapid tornado development would be rapid lightning jumps. I don't see lightning increasing that much over the last 10 minutes because the way these bolts are colored, if you pay careful attention here, you can see that they do change color to the southwest. The darker ones are older. That means they're not happening instantaneously. The newer ones are the brighter white colors here on the south side of the city of Centerville. So you got all that booming thunder, lightning that's cloud to ground, which could knock the electricity out, may knock the internet out. Just make sure you got a backup way of getting weather information. You may not always be able to rely on something that's plugged into the wall or something that's coming through the pipeline. Wireless is often one of the best tools that you have at your disposal in an event like this. We've got lightning and heavy rain now falling Maplesville to Stanton up through western Chilton County. Those storms are not severe at the moment. The one south of Marion is severe, and that's one that we will watch for this western edge of Chilton County between now and about 1:15 p.m. based on the path that it is taking at the moment. So let's put some storm tracks on here. We'll get rid of the lightning display so that you can see more clearly what's happening underneath. Tornado warning until 12:45 p.m. for Bibb County and for northern Perry. Another warning that's farther down toward the south. This one's in effect also until 12:45 p.m. That looks a lot more linear than it did earlier, and on a day like this, linear is usually a little bit better. When the storms are out by themselves and more supercellular in nature, they tend to have a better possibility, a better potential for growing into something that's a little stronger. When they are lined up like this and you got this messy look, that sometimes can limit the amount of intensity that you're going to get. But still, these are very powerful thunderstorms that are tracking northeast across Bibb and Perry counties. The circulation is now southeast of Centerville with this one. So let's go in very close here and take a look in to the south of Centerville in Bibb County. Possible tornado. No confirmation yet, but the circulation east of Alabama Highway 219 and south of U.S. Highway 82. So downtown Centerville, you come over the Cahaba on the bridge right there. So south of Centerville, there's where the rotation would be, and it's tracking northeast, now up in the direction of U.S. Highway 82. We'll look at it using the NexRad wind data. Again, different perspectives can really help us to determine where the greatest threat would be. So there's a very messy look right here, but the rotation back down in this area, sliding northeast. So what we've got is the wind moving away from the radar, wind moving toward the radar. You see that sweep go by. Each of these pixels represent one data point. And the wider those pixels are, the harder it is to really get a feel for where an individual tornado might be down on the surface of the earth. But there is the circulation near the Cahaba coming over 219. And then as we go back to live, watch this, you'll be able to see it now closer to 58, now closer to Highway 82. So it's coming northeast. It's passed over Highway 219 now. So if you're south of Centerville, we can give you an all clear along Highway 219 from this storm. South of Centerville along 219 and the Cahaba River down to the county line. That storm has passed. The rotation is now up here, and it looks fairly broad at this point. I think that's a good sign, but we still have to be very, very careful. Looks like we just got an update on that warning. Harmony?
It's a severe Well, they want to make sure that they're going to continue that tornado warning, Jason, and at least until 12:45, because just a minute ago, they kept tabs on it, and it still is capable of producing a tornado. Right now, it's near the Talladega National Forest, or about 8 miles south of Centerville. So it's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So it's likely going to be on the doorstep of Centerville, but it's just to the south. That polygon extends to the southern sections of Centerville. So the intersection of Highway 82 that runs into University Way, this is an area just to the south that we're talking about. And so it is moving very quickly, Jason, but likely right over top.
Yeah, and so this is missing downtown Centerville. It's missing Brent. It's nowhere near Woodstock, nowhere near West Blockton. You've got rain, you got thunder, you got lightning up in that area. Highway 82, now this is the main concern, and no one should be on Highway 82 from Centerville all the way down to the county line at this point. Where it intersects with the Chilton County line, you need to be in a safe place, not on the highway, certainly not just east of Centerville. This would be a bad time to be driving through here because you see all the rain here. All this rain is within the circulation of the storm itself. You cannot see a funnel if it's down here. And to this point, fortunately, like Harmony said, we don't have any reports of damage at the moment, but we can look at the potential for debris here using radar. There's a lot of noise here, and you can see there's no consistency to it. So we get a pixel here, get a pixel there. If there were debris, I think we would see something a little more consistent on a track, but we don't see that at this point. You see just a lot of places where maybe the radar beam is even hitting some of the hilltops down here, and that's what's causing some of the noisy pixels that are showing up south of Highway 82. So we're not getting a good view with that. Let's go back to the velocity view from the Birmingham NextRad. You see that updated polygon is this one right here. See the outskirts of it right there going over toward Antioch Road. It also includes Highway 139. Harmony?
Jason.
That's the new one?
If you zoom out, you'll see that that's a new one.
All right, so let's take a peek at that and see what's up with this new one, how far it goes, and it does now include northern Chilton County. So as we expected and talked about, northern Chilton County, you were now under a tornado warning, and the expiration time on that, Harmony, is?
The expiration time is until 1:30. There's also some new reports, Jason, if you wanted me to tell you a little bit about that. Now, This is Perry County, so about 3 miles east of Folsom. The storm chaser reports that there was some wind damage, 10 torn from roofs, trees, power lines down from a possible tornado. So that just came down about 1 minute ago. That's from the National Weather Service, 3 miles east of Folsom. That's in Perry County. That's the storm you were tracking, Jason. 1210 is where they got that damage report of the roofs, the trees, the power lines down. So Perry County, avoid that particular area. Jason's still tracking some of those storms now upstream. Jason?
Right, and they're moving into Chilton, and it's in Bibb County now, northern Chilton County, including Jemison. Now you need to be working toward that safe place. And you have time here. It's not on top of you at the moment. We're using the Birmingham NextRad to get a view of this. There's the circulation just southeast of Centerville. Let's go back to the live radar and get a different look. And you can see this messy batch of thunderstorms tracking toward the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. The overall movement here is toward Chilton and toward Shelby. So we talked about the trouble spots between now and 2:30 p.m. being mainly Chilton County. We may be able to add parts of Talladega County and Coosa County to that too as quickly as these are moving. So let's get in here and put some storm tracks on so that you can get a feel for what time this thing will be close to particular communities. This is moving southeast of Centerville now. It's approaching Highway 82. It will cross over Highway 82 and then get out here close to Ashby and Randolph in eastern Bibb County, and then come across the northern part of Chilton County. Now, if you're in Clanton, remember, the apps work based on the polygon. So if you're not in that polygon, you may not get a warning alert on your phone. That's why we're here covering the whole thing. We want to make sure that you get all the information that you need. So northern Chilton County, you're under the tornado warning. We're using the live radar here, and I'm going to put the storm track on and show you just about what time we think this thing will be coming through a particular community. So as we look at this spot right here, southeast of Centerville, tracking northeast right in that polygon at around 45 miles per hour, It's going to show a little bit of southern Shelby County, but the warning is for Chilton. So southern Shelby County, communities like Wilton and the Alabama National Cemetery and Calera, you're not in the warning, you're just going to be close. So this is one of those deals where you just kind of stand by and watch it to see if there's any jog to the north. But Briarfield, Oakley, the Trio community, Randolph, Jemison, you need to be in a safe place right now. Mobile home, you got plenty of time to get out of that thing in Jemison or up Highway 31 right to the Shelby County line. Get to a shelter that's not a mobile home. In eastern Bibb County, you've got at least 5 minutes before this thing gets over here toward Randolph and Ashby. So mobile homes are not the place to ride this out. Cars, also not the place to ride it out. You should not be on Highway 82 here between the Chilton County line and then downtown Centerville. But we'll be able to clear that in just a matter of a couple of minutes. See, the core of the storm is beginning to lift to the northeast. So it's moving out of the Centerville area across Highway 82 and then tracking northeast toward northern Chilton County, where we have a tornado warning that's in effect now until 1:30 p.m. These storms have had a history of producing some damage down the line. We had some wind damage reports from the Gallion area, also a couple from Perry County. So there is confirmation that storms that look like this have done some damage. Now, are they still down doing damage? That's a question that we can't see based on radar. Radar looks up at the sky. It's looking at the structure of the storm. It doesn't look down at the surface where that tornado would be. So this is a better safe than sorry kind of scenario over Bibb and northern Chilton counties, where you need to be in a safe place right now. There is also that other storm over Perry County that's farther to the southwest that we'll have to watch for western Chilton County as well. That warning remains in effect until 12:45 p.m. Actually, it was just dropped. So this storm, not really what we would call a dominant storm, even though it's on the southern end of it all. We'll look at it using the Birmingham NexRad slightly closer to it. You can see the structure right there. And then as far as the wind goes, the wind shear may not be quite what it was. Still clearly some rotation showing up right here just southwest of the Chilton County line. So if you're around Maplesville, Stanton, you're not under a warning, but you probably want to be aware. Sometimes these things can spin back up at a moment's notice and you get seconds to react. So just be on guard. Be ready for the situation to go downhill over the western part of Chilton County as well. Now, farther north, our storm in Bibb County, right here, that was the original circulation. Looks like it might be trying to ramp up a little bit to the south. Maybe we've got some recycling going on within the storm itself, within the structure. We can look at that using the different radar displays too. And this is an extremely messy look. And to my knowledge, we don't have any damage reports out of southern Bibb County. Obviously, this is a fairly rural area. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get information from there because it may only be trees down. And if that's all it is, that's great. We're okay with minimal damage with these things. We just want to make sure that you and your family have the information that you need to be safe. Harmony?
They are wanting to give us a little bit of an update here from the National Weather Service. Jason talking about they are on the phone right now with the Storm Prediction Center about to coordinate that new watch. And so we just talked about it about 15 minutes ago, saying within the hour, we're going to know whether or not that tornado watch is going to extend to you, Etowah County, to you, areas of Calhoun County. And so right now, Jason is showing you the display, the counties that are shaded in yellow. That's including Jefferson County and Shelby and Chilton and right now Blount, but potentially moving eastward here. And they're in discussions right now to see whether or not that's going to happen, Jason.
Right. And the expiration time you see right there, that's obviously not correct. But we'll be watching for an addition to this watch, Talladega County, St. Clair County, Etowah County. You're probably next. And what they may do here is add it on a county-by-county basis as that threat gets a little bit closer, so that you're not under a watch for hours and hours and hours, so that you just get the notification on a little bit more timely manner. By the way, the green here, that represents a flash flood watch for Coosa County and points south. There are other counties that are in that as well to the south because of the heavy nature of the rainfall, and that is something else that we're going to keep an eye on. It's somewhat of a secondary threat, though, to the tornado threat that we have in progress right now. So here's WVTM 13 Live Doppler. There's one tornado warning in Alabama at this moment, and that is for Bibb and Chilton counties in central Alabama. A mass of heavy rain running from Tuscaloosa up through Birmingham right now. Harmony?
Jason, why don't you take a look at the chat? You might want to mention what they're talking about right now about the that particular storm cell that you were tracking west of Lawley in Bibb County.
Okay.
There's a little tidbit that you might want to share with the public here, talking about there may have been a little bit more of a signature west of Lawley in Bibb County.
Okay, and that's happening right now.
Right.
And that's where we were talking about that noise, where the beam may actually be hitting hilltops and trees.
Right.
Sometimes it can be hard to distinguish that. So, and look, if you don't know about our National Weather Service here in Birmingham, they're phenomenal. They do incredible research. They issue warnings when warnings need to be issued. They don't issue them just because they think something's there or because they have a gut feeling. They do it because it needs to be done. So if you're in Bibb County or northern Chilton County, you've been warned because there's a real threat here to life and property. It's not just a guessing game. To the north, we've got this batch of heavy rain in Cullman, Walker, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, and Jefferson counties moving into Blount County. Watch out for some minor flooding here. It hadn't rained enough to really give us flood warnings there yet. This is the area of concern, and if we do have a tornado debris signature down, we've got a completely different ball game here.
Up there in Coleman.
Yeah, got some hail.
From the emergency managers there in Coleman County, they're talking about some pea-sized hail there in Vinemont.
And that is completely unsurprising given the amount of lightning that's happening within these storms. There will be hail, there will be some strong gusty winds, but let's look and see if we can see what we were talking about with potential for some debris. There's the rotation. Now it's northeast of Highway 82. Remember, we've tracked this thing all the way from Perry County, southeast of Centerville, and now I think it may have redeveloped because there's the original circulation. That's much weaker. The circulation here has kind of shifted to the right just a bit of the original path, so there is clearly something going on right there. So let's look and see if there is anything with debris. And it's hard to tell. Sometimes you can have debris, although that does look a little bit more consistent right there. So we certainly may have a TDS. It's weak. It's not a very strong signal of one, but that is something to be mindful of, because if there is debris, you can see how that moved. It's not like these other noisy spots. That certainly moved up across Highway 82 close to Lawley, and now it's headed toward Randolph and Ashby and Briarfield. So Highway 139 north of the Chilton County line, all the way up to Alabama Highway 25. I want you in a safe place. If you are south of Centerville and you were listening from a storm shelter at this point, you can come back out south of Centerville along Highway 5, and then down in northern Perry County, the risk of that one has diminished as well. And I think that's getting a bit clearer, don't you, Harmony?
Absolutely, I do think, I agree. And that's why I wanted to kind of throw that out there. When they see something, we're seeing this exact same thing, but it's nice to see it on different angles. And really, to kind of reiterate, we put these particular wordings on some of these supercells to really hammer down the fact that you need to find your safe place. So if we're talking about Bibb County, if we're talking about Lawley, if you know where these areas are of Bibb County, just to the south right now of the downtown Centerville, but there are several areas right now that are close to Centerville, and that's one of the areas. Love Bibb County Lake, one of my favorite spots there, and a hail producer too in Coleman County. There's several areas that we're watching in central Alabama. Jason is zooming out and showing you the radar image here. The warning, the severe thunderstorm that has now produced a potentially rotating column that has now dropped down a tornado, potentially. We still have not had any visual confirmation. We have had some reports of potential damage from about 40 minutes ago that was in Perry County, but now we're focusing on areas of Bibb County, and that's moving into Chilton County as well. So this is going to be a warning that extends for Bibb and Chilton until 1:30. That's another 40 minutes. A severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado continues to trek towards the northeast at 40 miles per hour. And so that means it could be on the doorstep of Calera. It may even be to the south of Montevallo. And we're seeing rain-wrapped supercells. So the visibility is not good. Even when we get information from emergency managers, the tornado warning is going to continue. National Weather Service just dropping that down for Bibb and Chilton until 1:30, so they're not seeing any change. Just 1 minute ago, they looked at that thunderstorm and analyzed it. It is right now located near the Talladega National Forest, or about 10 miles east of Centerville, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So I think, Jason, today I've seen pretty much any of these storms moving northeast about 35 to 45 miles per hour, but no slower than that right now. No, and it's booking it. And in fact, on the live radar in that last sweep, you can see a very tight hook
And now that confirms, I think, a little bit more in my mind that there is a tornado down at this point that's approaching Alabama Highway 139. There are some times of arrival. Randolph, 12:55, so that's 2 minutes away. Jemison, 1:08. So if this thing manages to hold on to get all the way over to Jemison, you've got a little less than 20 minutes, closer to 15 minutes. Collins Chapel, Mineral Springs, Gap of the Mountain, those are all communities that are farther east here that are not in the warning, but I want you to be aware that there's a storm that's getting close. Same thing, like Harmony said, around the Calera area, especially South Calera, close to the golf course and point south of there, near Alabama Highway 25 and south. You need to be thinking about what you're going to do if this storm maybe takes a bit of a jog toward the north. So we are getting to a point here where we have a bit more critical situation over Bibb County. The storm itself, right there. That's where the possible tornado would be, or where we think the tornado is right now, because that is a very strong indication that a tornado is down, potentially doing damage in some of the rural communities here just to the northeast of Antioch Road, 139. So this is just a little north of Randolph. We'll put the, tell you what, let's measure this out and show you just how far away that we think it is. So we'll measure from the word Randolph right there along Highway 139. Tornado would be about 2 miles, give or take, to the northwest of Randolph. From Briarfield, you look at that. From Briarfield, it's going to be about 3 or 4 miles to the south, and it's going to cross 139 almost halfway in between the two. So if you are in Randolph or around Briarfield Ironworks, Highway 139, the entirety of this highway, I want you to be in a safe place, because as we have seen in the past, we can track it where it is right now, but sometimes the tornado will move a little bit to the left or to the right of the actual storm motion. It gets caught up in that circulation, so knowing exactly what point, what intersection along Highway 139 that's going to cross is going to be a little bit difficult. So I want you to be in a safe place from Randolph to Ashby up to Briarfield, and you don't play with this. There's likely a tornado on the ground here in Bibb County that is tracking toward Chilton County. Here's the debris. I certainly think, given the history of watching that crossing Highway 82 and then crossing over Antioch Road, that we do have a tornado down doing damage right here near Alabama Highway 139, maybe about a mile north of Randolph, give or take. That's not going to be precise, but just north of Randolph and just south of Briarfield, you need to be in a safe place right now, Highway 139. Then down the line here, County Road 107 in Chilton County. You're not far from this. I want you to go ahead and be in that safe place too. I'm going to bounce out just a little bit here so we can get a good storm track on it. You can see there's a lot of noise back here to the southwest. That's the spot we've been watching. We'll put this in motion and you'll be able to see it as it tracked from southwest to northeast. So there it is, a bit broader now than it was, and that may mean that there could be debris being lofted up in that. Harmony?
They have extended that watch, Jason. I just wanted to reiterate
Okay.
that. If you have the watch pulled up, I know that you have the watch as well as the flood watches, but now they've extended that watch eastward.
Okay, so tornado watch will be extended eastward. We'll get to that here in just a moment. Let's focus on the warning that we have in progress. A very clear indication on WVTM 13 live Doppler that we have a tornado there near Highway 139. I want to look at the velocity from the live radar, and sometimes when we're looking at the storm from the north, looking through it, it's a little bit harder to see, but I think that's a pretty clear presentation right there that even in the live data, we can see that a tornado is now looking fairly likely, a very tight rotation here. And I don't want to ignore what you just saw down there in Chilton County. There's no warning on that, but we're going to talk about Maplesville and Stanton. You need to be indoors. That looks like a strong storm coming through that could have some strong wind with it. So tight couplet right there. You've got the inbound winds and the outbound winds. So inbound right here, outbound right there. And this is very, very small, the way it looks on radar. So over Shady Grove Road, I need you to be in a safe place right now. Antioch Road, this is now northeast of you. And what I'm going to do is just move the map upstream here, and we're going to look at it on a very, very local level. Shady Grove Loop, Shady Grove Road, Pilar Road, or Plier Road. And then up to the north here, Highway 139, you see it right there. The tornado, if it's still down, will be crossing Highway 139 just right there close to Shady Grove Loop, or Shady Grove Road, County Road 171. This is now passing up this direction, up toward the Highway 139 area, eastern Bibb County, and then Chilton County. You're down the line from this. So the circulation right here on the edge of your screen. Let's look over here at County Road 73, County Road 119, County Road 107, and County Road 120 in Chilton County. You've got about 3 or 4 minutes before this will be on top of you. That's the Chilton County line right there. So it's tracking northeast toward the northern part of Chilton County. Let's back out on the view here just a bit, see, there's our circulation based on the live radar. There's also another one down here that actually may be strengthening just a bit. So Maplesville, Stanton, Thorsby, Clanton, Fairview, want you to be aware that we may have something brewing here that could trigger a very quick warning. In fact, right now, based on the live data, that circulation looks a bit stronger than what's here close to Highway 139, but this one has had a history of producing some damage with it. Harmony?
You're right, Jason. That's what they're looking at right now. They said, John DeBlock there from the National Weather Service says that warning is actually coming very quickly, the one by Maplesville, so I would likely focus on that one.
So a tornado warning now coming for Chilton County that will include Thorsby, probably a part of Clanton. It's now northeast of Maplesville, and it's north of Stanton. So this storm has already passed over you. A tornado warning is forthcoming for this part of Chilton County. We already have one in northern Chilton County. The good news for Shelby County is all these are staying south. The bad news is they're all in one spot here that's going to run up and down Interstate 65. So anybody that's driving from Calera to Clanton on I-65, a good idea would be able to pull off around Peach Park or pull off at the Highway 31 exit in Calera and let these things pass in between. I wouldn't want to be driving on 65 or Highway 31 south of Calera or north of Clanton as these storms are moving through. So it looks like we may have just gotten that warning, tornado warning until 1:30 for northern Chilton County. One is forthcoming for this part of the storm that is down here northeast of Maplesville. So this is all going to be centered in Chilton County very soon. Let's make sure that folks know that they're clear from these storms. There is still a tornado watch in effect. You're not clear from the threat, but from these particular storms, Perry County and Bibb County south of Centerville. The only part of Bibb County that's left in this warning of significance would be right along Highway 139 over toward the Chilton County line. Harmony?
They have issued that warning.
And there it is.
Yeah, they're giving you the information right now. It's until 2 o'clock, and so this is a storm system that has slowed down just a bit. Just a moment ago, they are now looking at 11 miles southwest of Jemison, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Still flying debris. Clanton, Jemison, Thorsby, Chilton County Motorsports Park, Gap of the Mountain, Lay Lake Dam, if you live near Lay Lake, Mitchell Lake, Lomax, also Isabella, and the I-65 rest area. Jason was saying, if you have any friends or family on I-65, pull off at the Peach Park, Durbin Farms. There are several exits that are safe that you can pull off safely. Do not be on I-65 for any extended amount of time today. In fact, the watch just got extended for entire central Alabama counties until 8 p.m. tonight. So it's another 7 hours where those roads could be dangerous, Jason. Right,
and you can see the extent of the warning there. Shelby County line, downtown Clanton. It cuts off just north of the Peach Park exit. So that's Highway 31, that's Peach Park right down there. So here's the tornado warning. It includes Highway 31, Highway 145, and then out toward Interstate 65 north of Clanton. Alabama 145 going out toward Lay Lake. Needs you to be in a safe place right now. Jemison, Thorsby, all the way down Highway 31 into the city itself. It's a city of Clanton itself. Good idea to be in that tornado safe place right now. Here's WVTM 13 live Doppler. Let's look at this from a slightly different perspective. The Shelby County Airport radar situated right up there at the top of the screen. You can see that little blue dot just above the banner. So we've got the first storm here that is moving into Chilton County. The second storm is this one that's near Highway 22 at Alabama 191. If you're on 191, it's on top of you now. And then as we get up toward the northeast here, we don't have a lot of time before this thing will be close to Thorsby, Clanton, and then coming over Highway 145. So let's look at this. Looks like we just got a new update on the storm to the north, so we'll take those one by one. We'll start with tracking the storm that's got the newest tornado warning on it, again, until 2 p.m. For central and northern Chilton County. The storm right there close to Alabama 191. Moving northeast, just like that, close to 40 miles per hour. Isabella, Thorsby, Clanton, Mineral Springs, Lay Dam would be in the path of this around 1:30. So at the speed that it's going right now, you can see the times of arrival. Those are going to be somewhat of an estimate because as we have seen these storms, they speed up, they slow down just a little bit. That's based on its current motion. Harmony?
Hey, Jason, I wanted to just a quick note because we watched the National Weather Service in Birmingham and in Huntsville that covers Coleman County. And so, always switching back and forth. And we were talking about that hail producer just about 15, 20 minutes ago. Now there's an aerial flood warning for Coleman, Limestone, Madison, and Morgan. And so I think the storms northward, Jason, are more of a flood threat right now. And so we're still keeping tabs on them. So Coleman, we're not going to forget about you. We can hear the thunder on the mountain, so to speak, but we've got some really heavy rainfall that's encompassing Coleman County, Jefferson County too. But these particular storms we have zoomed in here, Jemison, Thorsby, Clanton, Maplesville, these are tornadic supercells. So there's a couple of threats. Having multiple ways to get information right now is pretty critical, wouldn't you say? It
is. Like we said earlier, even the lightning can knock the power out, can knock the internet out. Wireless is a great backup, or having a battery-operated NOAA weather radio, that is always a good standby. Your app works based on your geographic location. So if you are in the box, you get an alert. If you're not in the box, you don't get an alert for it. That's why the NOAA weather radio is a secondary source of information, or really a primary source, is the best way, because then you get a bigger picture of what's happening nearby. You wouldn't want to be in the south part of Clanton, down close to Walmart, and not know that this storm is coming into the north. In fact, I imagine at this point from downtown Clanton looking northwest, and Harmony, if we can here in just a moment, let's see if we can pull up that on Max 2, see if we can get the Clanton camera, because that would get a good view looking back to the west. I'll stay on Max 1. We'll put Harmony on Max 2 to see if we can get that camera up. This is the radar from the Shelby County Airport that you're seeing right here. This is WVTM 13 live Doppler, and you just saw it move forward from the Shelby County Airport. There's the WVTM 13 Doppler. That little Boeing segment right there, that's where we could have some strong damaging straight line wind as well as a threat of a tornado. Thorsby to Jemison, down to Clanton, and really even along Highway 22 out here close to the Fairview community. I think it's better safe than sorry. Even though I think the storm may be a little to the north, I still want you to be in a safe place and not driving along Highway 22 west of Clanton out toward Maplesville. Highway 191, this is passing over top of you right now, and we've also got our storm that's up here farther to the north. Tornado warning remains in effect for northern Chilton County. Tornado warning it canceled for northern Chilton County. If we could, let's take Max 2 full. I'm looking at it here in the big monitor, and you're looking from McKinnon Toyota, looking across Interstate 65. There's the Peach Water Tower. Our storm is right out there in the distance.
You could see some lightning if you look at it just for a few minutes, Jason.
Yeah,
There's been some lightning.
And so as the storm is moving this direction, we should get a very good view of it. It's not going to be in range right now, but let's keep our finger on the button to look back at this here in just a moment. For now, let's go back over to Max 1, and we'll take a look at it on radar. So we've got our eyes on the camera there at McKinnon Toyota. And again, that sits right about here. So we're looking back toward that, and it's still too far away over the horizon to really be able to see that much, but I think we're going to get a good view of it as it gets closer. In the meantime, Highway 31 through Thorsby, Jemison, and Clanton, you need to be in a safe place right now. And what do I mean by safe place? Lowest floor, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. That would mean a hallway, or a hall closet, or a bathroom that's very small. Very small rooms are usually stronger in situations like this. So Highway 145 right there. We're watching the storm in the big monitor here from McKinnon Toyota looking west. There's the circulation. I don't know for sure that thing is down, but if it is, it would be doing damage right now, and we don't want to take any chances with it. Like we said a little while ago, the National Weather Service doesn't issue warnings just because they want to. They issue them because there is a real, legitimate, life-threatening situation from Highway 191 Highway 22 over to Highway 31. That triangle right there in between those highways, that is bounding where this tornado would be. The debris tracker, what we call the correlation coefficient, sometimes we use a word like that. If we throw that out, that's what we're talking about. We're looking for debris. It doesn't appear to be there at this moment. I tell you what, Harmony, I'm going to toss over to you and get a drink of water.
Please do. I was just actually going to do that same thing. So I wanted to say, yeah, Jason, that way's safe. Go ahead. You're safe that way. We're talking about the winds out ahead of the storm right now in Coosa County. And so this is just up against Chilton County. Looking at Thorsby and Clanton, the shear has enhanced. And so this is a big deal, folks. We're talking about the rotating potential of some of these storms. And so putting on the wide scope here and going back to our radar image, that's really one of the biggest things that we want to monitor today is the changing radar signatures that we've been seeing on the WVTM 13 live Doppler radar, but mainly focusing in on this tornado warning. Now, want to make note that there is still a large flood threat too in Coleman County and into sections of northern sections of Coleman County and moving northward as far as the potential for power outages. Jason has been talking a lot about that. If your power is shaky and you have any friends or family in the Jemison, Thorsby, Clanton community, we look at the sky camera. I don't know if you can pull back up the Peach Park camera that's overlooking the Peach. Well, you can see, Jason, just some of the cloud shield already. The view has certainly changed. You can see on that Clanton camera. If you look right now, just with the Peach beyond that, folks, don't get on the roadways if you do not have to get on the roadways. This is just not the time to be outside. Now, even though they have continued to talk a little bit more about potentially expiring some of these warnings, we are still underneath a tornado watch until 5 p.m. or until 8 p.m. rather, and they're talking about potentially removing some of the areas of West Alabama from the watch boxes, but right now it's still a very evolving situation that we have outside. And most of these storms that we continue to watch, Jason, they continue to show some very broad rotation, but we haven't had any real confirmation of tornadoes on the ground quite yet. But I think we can hear the rain that we were just talking about that was heading in our direction on top of our roof here at the studios.
Yeah, and rain will be a big impact for a lot of us today. Initially, about 5-6 days ago when we were looking at this event, we thought rain may be one of the biggest factors, but right now it seems like severe weather to the south and rain to the north are going to be the biggest factors. We've got this tornado warning that's in effect for Chilton County. We're watching it live as well from the camera at McKinnon Toyota in Clanton. Looking west, it's a line of thunderstorms. This is a great view right here. Let's keep it like this. We've got a great view here looking to the west of the lowering that is moving into the city of Clanton. You can see the Peach Water Tower that is just to the right of the McKinnon Toyota sign. And then Interstate 65 is that major highway. I would not recommend driving on I-65 with this storm getting close. So we've got that view there. We're looking at this as it's working south, working toward the east, northeast across Chilton County. And I'm going to zoom in here on the radar. We're using the WVTM 13 live radar. This is more, it really looks more like a Boeing line segment right now that would have powerful wind on the front side and maybe a tornado that's sort of wrapped up there in the middle of it. Let's look at our velocity display from the live radar, then we'll also look at it from the National Weather Service radar in Birmingham. There's clearly some shear right there, south of Thorsby, north of Highway 22, and approaching Highway 31. So again, that camera is going to give us a pretty good vantage point as to what's happening. You can see some flashes of lightning there. Lightning and heavy rain are covering this whole thing right now. So you're not likely to be able to see a funnel or maybe even a wall cloud or much structure to this, but we'll get a view of it right there on the left-hand side of your screen. So we're looking at the velocity coming off of our live radar, WVTM 13 live radar. The strongest part of the rotation, as well as the greatest potential for strong straight line winds, looks like it's coming through Thorsby right now. We'll zoom in really close on the city of Thorsby. You can see Jones Street, Franklin Street, County Highway 29, County Road 43 up here toward Mineral Springs. I want you to be in a safe place. Thorsby, right now you seem to be in the spot where the greatest danger would be. Downtown Clanton is a little farther south, and I think we may get some wind through there, but the greatest threat of severe weather in Chilton County right now appears to be moving right into the city of Thorsby. So as we move out here just a little bit, and I want to look at this from a couple of different perspectives. That's the great thing about having access to multiple radars here. The risk of a tornado is highest close here to the Thorsby area, but even down toward Clanton, we're going to get some strong wind and some rain as that's coming through. So here's the storm relative velocity from Birmingham, and you can see it's really stretched out, but right there is the circulation, and that very well, Harmony, may be some damaging straight line wind on the leading edge of that, just based on the eye test. I think what we're seeing is it pushing forward, and then on the back side, there's just a twist to this whole thunderstorm, so a tornado may develop as well as having the potential for strong straight line winds. Along Highway 191, the risk of this storm has passed you. If you were in a safe place in Bibb County along Highway 139 or even down toward Maplesville, you are no longer in a threat from this. The Fairview community on Highway 22, no longer a threat from that storm, but there will be other storms that come through a little bit later on. So here's our tornadic circulation. This is the view from the Birmingham NexRad, and here is the live radar presentation. It is a messy look, but I think Thorsby right now is under the greatest threat for the potential of a tornado rolling right through town right now. So let's go in really close here. There's where the tornado would be, right there. So Pitt Street up to County Road 48, down to County Road 221, County Road 233, and then County Road 29. Need you to be you don't have time. You've got to get to that place right now. If it's down, it is coming right through Thorsby. If we're lucky, maybe this thing isn't down. Maybe it's just producing some strong wind and a lot of noise and a lot of rain. But I don't want to wait for luck here. I don't want to hope that we're lucky. Let's just go ahead and take this thing seriously. You're looking at the view from Clanton. We're looking west, so we're going to catch the west side of this from that storm. Harmony, I'm not certain if we can pan that thing around to the right just a little bit. I don't know what the view looks like there. If we're able to do that, we will. If not, then we'll just kind of leave it as it is. But you can see the dark cloud coming into Clanton. The threat here, the greatest risk of severe weather is going to be just a little bit north of Clanton along Highway 31 and then Interstate 65. So there may be some strong straight line wind here as well as out here ahead of it. But right there where you see this twist, almost that S shape in the line, that's where the greatest risk of a tornado would be. Harmony?
You're exactly right, Jason. That's been confirmed just a minute ago. That thunderstorm located over Thorsby near Jemison, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Still, Clanton, Jemison, Thorsby, Gap of the Mountain, Lay Lake Dam, these are still areas that still need to be under the gun because this warning continues. It's not going to expire until 2 o'clock. So that's another 45 minutes that we need you guys to be in your safe place to take cover now. Like Jason said, why risk it? If you have a plan, hopefully you do. If you're our fellow Alabamians, you've got that plan to go into the smallest interior room, no matter where you are. Hopefully, if you're in a mobile home, you have another plan to stay safe and go to that shelter, but just trying to avoid flying debris. Stay away from windows. Get yourself into a bathtub and cover yourself up with pillows or a mattress, whatever you can do. This is a tornado warning. They have been talking a lot about another tornado warning that has just been issued. This is for Coosa County, Jason, and some of the atmospheric conditions I think in South and Southeast Alabama are very buoyant. It's warm. It's in the 80s along the Gulf Coast, and so I think for winter probably in some of the warmest parts of the day happening right now. So this is going to be a very chaotic and very hostile environment for some of these thunderstorms to move into. So Jason just put that timeline on the map, so I'll have him walk you through that. Jason.
All right, so yeah, that's the track. We know it's right over Thorsby now. This is still going to be an intense thunderstorm that comes into the city of Clanton, but the risk of a tornado from the radar view right now is Thorsby, northeast, Collins Chapel, Mineral Springs, Gap of the Mountain, up to Lay Dam. Around Lay Dam, it's going to be 1:31 p.m. Marble Valley would be closer to 1:39, and then Gold Branch. These communities are in Coosa County. Coosa County's not under a warning now, but you've got one coming at you from the west and one from the southwest. This storm down in Coosa County that Harmony was talking about, that's one that we'll have to watch too. And the wind here is strongest aloft and matches up with the best instability all south of Birmingham and south of Shelby County right now. And that's why we've got the storms that are here. And we're focused on Chilton County and especially these communities, Lay Dam, Marble Valley, Gold Branch down the line, but Collins Chapel, here we are at 117. It's about 1 minute from Collins Chapel, about 121 Mineral Springs. Gap of the Mountain, about 123 would be the time of arrival. So we're in good shape right now as far as western Chilton County, but northeastern Chilton County in rough shape with this storm moving through. High wind may accompany this away from the tornado. We could get 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts that have nothing to do with the spin in the wind whatsoever. It may just be straight line wind because there is a lot of muscle in the atmosphere today. Harmony?
Jason, we do have a storm report that I want to tell you about. Now, this is Marengo County, so we always try to push everybody to know their county maps, right? So Marengo County, and then upstream into Perry, and then upstream into Bibb and Chilton. And so this is the same storm system that Jason is tracking right now. The new storm reports that came out, this is 2 miles southeast of Old Spring Hill, Marengo County. There has been property damage, a trailer destroyed, a front door ripped off from the house, possible tornado. That was from 11:20. We're looking at right now, this is another something since we're looking at the chat. The Hoover Police Department is reporting that Highway 31 is starting to flood. So already, this is in Birmingham, Highway 31 starting to flood, watching some cars almost flood out at Data Drive.
And that's a typical place where it does that. We get used to this around here. We typically know how and where it's going to happen when the heavy rain is coming through. So there again is our view from downtown Clanton, or just north of downtown Clanton, and McKenna Toyota on I-65 at Highway 145. The Peach Water Tower is there. You've got that really dark shelf cloud coming in. And with that in Clanton, we're probably going to have, I would say, at least 25 to 30, if not 50 or 60 mile per hour gusts that could knock some trees down, could knock the power out. But the worst part of this storm has now passed northeast of Thorsby, and it is tracking up in the direction of Collins Chapel. In fact, it may be over Collins Chapel right now. So let's go in and look at this very closely. You're looking at WVTM 13 live Doppler. The rotating part of the storm is now on top of I-65. So like we said a little while ago, park it at the Shelby County line or north if you're coming southbound. Park it at Peach Park and don't come northbound through this thing. So we're looking closer in. You're looking almost due west from that vantage point. So I don't know if it'll swing to the right at all, but if it will, I think we'll get a better look at it.
There's a building, I'm trying.
Oh, yeah, that's.
So I figured I'd zoom in on the skyline there.
I thought that might be the case. It might be a little tough to see looking that direction.
Doing my best.
But I think that may be the best view that we can get right there. I think that's good. So the tornado is now, remember, McKinnon Toyota sits right about there. So the tornado would be a couple of miles northeast, crossing I-65, may have already crossed 65, headed up toward Alabama Highway 145 near the Collins Chapel community. So there's Mineral Springs. This is north of Collins Chapel, and then going up toward Lay Dam. Lay Dam is right here. That is County Road 51. This is where County Road 51 intersects with Alabama 145. So from County Road 42 down to 51, 145, Mineral Springs, that's where our tornado would be. Harmony?
This is kind of big. They are saying that they're hearing on the scanners, this is from one of the other folks there at the EMA, that Hoover PD is shutting down Highway 31 at Galleria. Highway 31 at Galleria and diverting the traffic through the shopping center. So stay away from the Galleria, I presume, right now in Highway 31.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we'll bounce out and we'll look toward the metro here for just a moment because I think it's important that you see where the heaviest rain is falling over most of the region at this point, and it's just up and down here. That heavy batch of rain that just passed Hoover is what caused the flooding. So rainfall rates here may be like summertime thunderstorm kind of rain. It's coming down so hard that you can't see across the street. That can cause some temporary flash flooding. We do know that there's an aerial flood warning up for Cullman County because of the consistent heavy rain there, and it just keeps on trailing in from the west over Mississippi. Good news right here, this action that's around Columbus and Vernon and Fayette, that's not severe weather. All the severe weather is south of Birmingham right now in Chilton County and Autauga County. That's north of Prattville. That's the community of Marbury. If you know where that is, right off I-65, you can see Marbury High School. That's where that tornado warning is in Autauga County. And then we've got one that's north of Clanton up toward Mineral Springs, Lay Dam in Chilton County. That is just extremely heavy rain falling through central Shelby County, places like Indian Springs, up toward Acton Road, and then over toward Inverness, just getting pounded right now. Don't be on the road in this. It's excessive rainfall. It's, like I said, like summertime thunderstorm rain, except it's more prolonged than that because it's just rolling over the same place over and over and over. Let's go in close here back into Chilton County, where the primary reason that we're here is a tornado warning for Chilton County. This is where the rotation is. You can almost see the rotation in the live data because it updates so quickly. We had the hook. Now it looks like we may have lost the hook, but still have a Boeing line segment right there. I want to look at the velocity on this so that we can get a better feel for what the structure of the storm is doing at this moment. So we'll look at it from two perspectives. First, I want to look at it from the Birmingham NexRad because that radar is a little closer, has a better look down close to the surface, and yeah, we still have it, but this is now over Highway 145. Let's look at it from our live radar, which is located over at Vance in Tuscaloosa County, and again, you can see it right there, moving right on top of Highway 145, and you can see Harmony's moving the camera around there, looking across the interstate toward the water tower. That is a well-known landmark, obviously, on Interstate 65 through Chilton County. That's north of downtown Clanton, so you've got the shelf cloud that's lowering, and then potentially some strong wind coming with that, then the heavy rain will follow. Harmony?
You can see the lightning as well, and a lot of folks, I think, emergency managers right now are certainly going to be very heavily dependent on what Jason and I are showing you right now. It doesn't necessarily look pretty, but it's the only way we can use our tools in order to find out where these Boeing segments are, where the potential for rotation is. And I think, like Jason was mentioning, straight line winds, a wall of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, even if it lasts for 10 seconds, can take down mobile homes, can rip off roofs from barns, send them sailing across as flying debris. That's why we always suggest that you stay away from glass windows, doors, glass doors, anything that could potentially shatter because there is debris. It may not be right on your back porch, but there is debris and rain-wrapped tornadic activity happening. So when we say tornado watch and there's a tornado warning, it's not like, hey, look outside, there's a tornado. You're not going to see it today. And so just stick with us and we'll try to navigate you through these storms. Jason?
All right. So again, you're looking at McKinnon Toyota on Interstate 65, close to Highway 145, looking across at the Peach Water Tower. That is looking northwest from the north side of the city. We're looking at a potential tornado here that would be very close to Mineral Springs, tracking northeast toward the Coosa River, Lay Lake. This will stay north of Lake Mitchell. This is going to be on the north side of Lay Dam. So this is more of a Lay Lake issue than a Lake Mitchell issue, but that is a mean-looking shelf cloud coming right into the heart of Chilton County, going to cross over Interstate 65, and as this thing gets a bit closer to the camera location here, oh, you see that cloud-to-ground lightning? There's just a lot of it out there. These are extremely electric storms, and sometimes we get a little tunnel vision on the tornado issue. Don't forget there's hail as well as flooding. We have flooding going on in Hoover right now from the heavy rain that has moved through. Fortunately, the rain's slacking up just a little bit around the Galleria and Hoover Municipal Complex, that area. But the flooding will still be an issue throughout the afternoon as additional rain comes in. Tornado warning for Chilton County, tornado warning for northern Autauga County. Both of these fairly dangerous storms. The warning for Chilton County goes until the top of the hour at 2 o'clock. And in Coosa County, you hadn't been mentioned in this just yet, but that thing is getting close, and it shows no sign of slowing down as it's moving into Coosa County. So if you're in the northwestern part of Coosa County, say from Highway 22 north and west of Highway 231, that northwestern quarter of Coosa County, I want you to go ahead and be thinking about what you're going to do if a warning is required for this area. Southern Shelby County, this is happening just a little south of Calera. It's south of Columbiana, and although the weather is terrible around Shelby right now, the worst of this is going to be on the Chilton County side of the line. And then I think it's probably going to stay more into Coosa than getting into Shelby. So let's put a storm track on here and show you how fast we think this is moving and roughly what time it'll be there. Where my finger is, that's where the tornado would be, right off of Highway 145. It may be crossing the highway at this moment, tracking northeast at around 45 miles per hour. So there you see Jumbo, Lay Dam, Marble Valley, Talladega Springs, Bentleyville, Fayetteville. Bentleyville is on the Coosa County side. Fayetteville would be on the Talladega County side. I think this is going to stay south of Talladega County. That fan goes out for the uncertainty of the movement, but really I think this thing is probably going to stay more in a line like that where it may miss southern Talladega County. Be on guard. You're close. Sylacauga, Fayetteville, you're close, but you're not quite in this just yet. And again, what you're watching on the lower left-hand part of your screen is a live view from McKinnon Toyota in Clanton as the severe thunderstorm is beginning to move into the city of Clanton. Fortunately, I don't see any sign of high wind at the surface yet. Things look fairly stable as we look across the interstate. You can see the trees, just mainly a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rain at this moment. But if there is some strong wind to be had, it's going to be as that dark cloud is passing by and then crossing over Interstate 65. Jemison and Thorsby. The risk of a tornado from that storm has ended, but you're still under a tornado watch through the evening, so don't let your guard down. But you can come out of that safe place right now along Highway 31, Jemison to Thorsby, into downtown Clanton. And in a matter of minutes, it'll be safe to drive Interstate 65 again. The tornado has passed, but that area, we're watching it live right there. As this thing crosses I-65, it may cause a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. That can be a little bit difficult to navigate, especially with high-profile vehicles. I would not want to be on the interstate right now as this is coming through northern Chilton County. From Calera northward, it's just heavy rain up toward Alabaster, Pelham, into the city of Birmingham, rolling through Hoover, and then down south of Clanton all the way down to Marbury, there's not much of a risk. But then you get into northern Coosa County, and you have another tornado warning down that way. In fact, we can briefly jog down there and show you because that one is potentially going to impact Coosa County down the line. Really, it may be more of an Elmore County issue. There's the rotating part of the storm. This would probably stay more into Elmore County, but southern Coosa County, you want to be on guard as that storm is getting a little bit closer. Let's bounce out here, and we'll take let's take a much larger view of the entire northern half of the state here and get you reset on what's happening. It is all rain around Cullman and Jasper and Aniana and even through Jefferson County, and this is heavy, soaking, flash flooding kind of rain. We've already seen some of that around Hoover. This little line that's rolling through Shelby County has some of the heaviest rain of all, and now there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern DeKalb County and eastern Jackson County. That's up on Sand Mountain around communities like Cartersville and around, it looks like maybe Higdon and Bryant, and that's tracking off into Georgia, and it's just beyond the range of the live radar right here. So our focus here in central Alabama is for Chilton County and for Shelby County because of the heavy rain. But Chilton County has the primary severe weather threat at this moment. There's a tornado watch that's in effect until 8 p.m. for many counties around here. And I'm going to pop that in here and show you where you can, which counties are in and which counties are out at this moment. And there are not a whole lot of them that are out of the view. All the counties that are highlighted in red here under a tornado watch, pay no attention to the expiration time there. We're talking, I think, Harmony, 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, all the way to the Georgia border here, down to Montgomery, and then up into the Tennessee Valley Region 2. Tornado watch continues over here in eastern Mississippi, but some of these counties may be trimmed away. So you see some of the spots that are being highlighted here, tornado watch until 8 o'clock, including Auburn, Gadsden, Montgomery, 5 o'clock for Birmingham, Hoover, and for Tuscaloosa. A little earlier to the west, the tornado watch will end a little bit later to the east. But it's worth mentioning, this is a very complex weather day around here. It is not a one-and-done situation. There is a threat that we could see additional severe thunderstorms later tonight and through early Wednesday morning. So as this first wave passes by, we'll get a lull in the action, and we will see how quickly the atmosphere can recover from that. So here's WVTM 13 live Doppler, tornado warning for Chilton County, tornado warning for Autauga County, flash flooding ongoing right now through Shelby County and maybe even parts of southern Jefferson County too, right there on the line close to the River Chase Galleria. Extremely heavy rain here, moving up into Leeds and toward Moody. This will move toward Pell City and Sylacauga and Talladega and Childersburg. The tornado threat is primarily contained here in southern Chilton County. Harmony, do we have any updates on this particular warning?
So far, the tornado warning, and this is just about 4 minutes ago, is going to continue just to our south. And so there has been several waves that we've been watching right now over my shoulder. This is the broad outlook of what we're looking at as far as the radar goes. A lot of yellow there. That's covering up Jefferson County, most of Walker County, most of Blount County too. So there could be some localized flash flooding. Coleman, you've been dealing with some aerial flood warnings. Right now, it looks like they're not inclined to continue that warning east to Chilton County, which of course is excellent news. But these storms have had a history of producing straight line winds on the order of 40 to 60 miles per hour just within some of the heavier rain bands, because I think we've been talking about, Jason has mentioned, it's kind of like tropical rain. We've got the moisture source right to our south. You know, we've got the subtropical jet. There's so many different dynamics in the atmosphere happening right now. There's just so much moisture that you cannot really visually see these storms rotating. So we're very highly dependent upon our tools, which are functioning just fine right now. And it's pointing specifically to this area right in between Jemison, Thorsby, and Lay Dam. So it's a polygon that continues to get smaller, but they're going to continue it until 2 o'clock right now. So just about 5 minutes ago, they still think that these storms right now back and forth. There's one to the south too that's closer to Watauga County, but they're looking to not extend that right now, Chilton County. But look at the camera at the Peach Park, Jason. I mean, we could just see it a second ago, and now you cannot see the road.
Yeah, and look at the wind. You can see it coming down in sheets there and blowing across the parking lot. Traffic is moving pretty slow on I-65. And that is from McKinnon Toyota looking at I-65. Across there, you can see the trees. Everything looks okay here. We may end up with some power outages because of the rain, the wind, and the lightning. But in the city of Clanton, the tornado threat has passed north of you. So if you've been in a safe place around the city, up to Jemison, Thorsby, out to Fairview, Isabella, you are in better shape right now than you were about 30 minutes ago when this storm was getting close. So let's go back to the radar, and we can show you WVTM 13 live Doppler. That's the point that we're concerned about. You see the swirl almost picking up there. Watch this, and we'll put it into motion. You can see how it's kind of closing in. That may be the point where this storm is doing something that could potentially make that tornado threat go up. So right here on the northeastern tip of Chilton County, I'm going to zoom in very closely. We look at some of the city streets here north of Lay Dam and south of Shelby. You can see County Road 199, County Road 198 over here toward Deer Path Road, Hidden Valley Road, up toward Marble Valley Road in Coosa County, in southern Talladega County, right along the county line. I want you to be in a safe place because this thing potentially could be extended over into Coosa County. I want you to go ahead and think about where you're going to go if that warning is triggered. Now, they may not continue the warning if there have been no reports of damage, and given the radar signature here, I have not seen any reports of debris signatures showing up within this. So let's take a look at that on our own here. We'll look at the that thing I said a little while ago about the correlation coefficient. Debris is what we'll call it. I don't see any sign of it right here, which is a good thing. Now, there's a lot of noise in the view here because we're close to the beam from the Shelby County Airport, but I don't see any real sign of debris between Highway 145 and Lay Lake, which is right here. All that squiggly line action there north of the word Lay Dam is Lay Lake. South of there is Lake Mitchell. So for northern Coosa County, you're not at a warning yet, but this storm is awfully close. Here's WVTM 13 live Doppler. There's still the circulation here, and we can look at that wind pattern as well from using our live radar over in Vance. A very broad-looking circulation. We'll look at it from a slightly closer radar here and use something called storm relative velocity. And yeah, clearly there's some twist. There's a lot of twist to that thunderstorm. The radar being located toward the northwest of the storm, you're looking for the inbound and the outbound. And the red is the outbound, so here, the green is the inbound, so that's moving in this way, and that gives us the indication that there is counterclockwise rotation within that portion of the thunderstorm that is close to County Road 180 and County Road 199, as well as County Road 198. So anybody here along Lay Lake, I can't imagine you'd be out on a boat on a day like this, but if anybody happened to be out, they need to be getting in real quick, at least get it to the shore. Strong wind, heavy rain, and a lot of lightning coming at you. Along Highway 145, as well as County Road 195, 156, County Road 42, County Road 8. You're clear from this one. It's now past you. The tornado warning is only for this far northeastern tip of Chilton County. We'll go back to WVTM 13 live Doppler. What we see here is a big mass of extremely heavy rain that has maybe some rotation embedded in it. It does have rotation embedded. We just don't know if it's getting down to the surface. And with this thing having crossed through Thorsby and crossing 145 over toward Mineral Springs and now in northeastern Chilton County, so far, so good with that. So let's bounce out here. We'll take the big view and get everybody reset on where we are. There is one tornado warning in effect, and that's in Chilton County. There's another one south, that's in Coosa County, but the only one in this television market in the Birmingham DMA is in northern Chilton. Heavy rain is falling elsewhere, and it is coming by the bucket through Birmingham right now, eastern Tuscaloosa County. One of the thought processes here for the remainder of the day is that the thunderstorms to the south are going to really limit potential in Jefferson, Blount, Coleman, Etowah, St. Clair for the next couple of hours. But remember, that tornado watch doesn't end with these storms. There is the expectation that there will be additional thunderstorms developing later today and tonight through early Wednesday morning that you still need to be alert for. So in Birmingham right now, you breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. In Jefferson County and northern and western Shelby County, there's some flooding going on, but no severe weather imminently in Jefferson or Shelby or St. Clair. But you are under a watch. You do need to be vigilant, and a new tornado warning just issued there for northern Coosa County. Just saw that one pop in. And that is not a surprise at all. So remember, we talked about places like Stewartville, Bentleyville. You want you to be in a safe place. Northern Coosa County, northeastern Chilton County, and there is a chance this may affect southern Talladega or Clay. North of there, you get north of Interstate 20, these storms are really limiting what's going on to the north. The southern storms are much more dominant, and I think that's the way it's going to be for the remainder of the afternoon. So as we think about where do we go from here, what's the rest of the afternoon look like? Let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, we've got our tornado warning here, Chilton, Coosa, and if it maintains that path, that's the general area that it's going to go in. So from Chilton to Coosa, maybe affecting southern Talladega County, maybe affecting Clay County, or the northern part of the Alexander City area down toward the Lake Martin. So this is a place where we need to be vigilant for the next hour and a half. It's tracking northeast. But this is the spot in northern Coosa County now where the greatest risk of a tornado would be, and this thing has had a history of producing wind damage down the line. We don't know of any in Chilton County at this moment, but that doesn't mean that it may not be doing it or that we just don't have the information at this moment. So from Lay Dam northeast toward Weguffka, Bentleyville, you're outside the polygon here, but that's pretty close. Talladega Springs, also outside the polygon, but very, very close. So if you're in those communities, be thinking about where you need to go to be safe from that storm. Harmony?
Hey, Jason, I just wanted to give you a quick update there. Maybe you want to get a drink of water for a moment, possibly. We have a tornado warning now. I wanted to make note, Jason has been pointing out the polygons and how they've changed shape just a bit, and they're more just looking to move right in general direction. Now, right now, we're looking at these storms that are about 9 miles west of Millbrook. There's a new tornado warning. It's in Elmore County, but that's just to the south of Chilton and Coosa. And so we keep seeing a lot of these storms, especially Coosa County, that tornado warning that was just issued until 2:30, so that's another 40 minutes. That's located over Lay Lake Dam, or about 10 miles southwest of Talladega Springs. So that's moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Now, straight line winds have already been the culprit for several areas that have been seeing damage today. I've been checking the National Weather Service in Huntsville as well, and they are talking about the potential of some damage that was reported close to Huntsville. It's in the town of Andersonville, or Anderson rather. That's close to Huntsville. They have reports of multiple trees down and power lines snapped, but that could be from straight line winds. And so even if there is not a specific tornado with this cell, although this is a pretty convincing graphic that Jason has pulled up here with the incoming winds and the outgoing winds, and maybe even a little bit of a tight ball there in the center, this is the time right now. If we say your town, you've got to be in your safe place. So we're talking about Marble Valley until 147. That's when it's going to be on your doorstep. Fayetteville 156 and Sylacauga 206. So about 20 minutes, Sylacauga, until this thunderstorm is on your doorstep. Tornado warning, that's new. It just came out. It's about 3 or 4 minutes ago. There's a tornado warning that radar indicated for Coosa County until 2:30 this afternoon. And that is just close to Lay Lake or Lay Lake Dam. And you cannot see these tornadoes today. You can only make out the pouring down rain, the rain-wrapped supercells that continue to show some bowing and some rotation. And that's why we continue to track them. Jason.
All right, and you mentioned Sylacauga. Now, Sylacauga is not under the warning, but the fan of the storm uncertainty at that point, that many minutes in the future, around, what would that be, 20 minutes from now, roughly 25 minutes from now, it could be close to the Sylacauga area if it starts to shift a bit to the north. I think this will probably hug the southern end of that track, and as the National Weather Service has outlined that polygon for northern Coosa County and not southern Talladega County, that's why they did that, because it will probably stay closer to Coosa County than getting up into Sylacauga proper or even Fayetteville or Gants Quarry, the communities that are just west of Sylacauga. So it's crossing Lay Lake just north of the dam right now and moving northeast. You just saw the times of arrival. This is the velocity or the wind display. We're looking at how fast the raindrops are moving on radar. And to the west, we can use WVTM 13 live Doppler and get a similar view, although because we're looking through so much rain here, we're going to stick with that Shelby County Airport view. This is good for seeing the position of it, but we're getting a bit of attenuation looking out to the west. So looking at it from Birmingham from a closer view may give us a little bit better perspective on what's going on here in northern Chilton County. That is a wall of water that is coming into Chilton into Coosa from Shelby and from Chilton. We've also got that heavy rain that's falling up and down Interstate 65, Highway 145. We were watching that view from McKinnon Toyota earlier in Clanton. That is no longer a severe issue. It's just heavy rain that's coming down. It may cause some localized flooding around the Clanton area, but the risk of a severe storm is now squarely in Coosa County, moving out of Chilton County, and we'll be on the lookout for what's going on here in the southern part of Talladega County. So a tornado warning in effect for Coosa County until 2:30 p.m. It's the northern part of the county. It doesn't include Rockford. It does not include Alexander City or Goodwater. Tallapoosa County, you would be down the line from this. And really, this looks more like a northern Coosa, maybe southern Talladega Clay down the line. Harmony?
I was just going to say from the chat, they are talking about the potential right now. They're saying that they're getting a little bit of a TDS off of their radar right now with that particular cell that you're looking at around Chilton and Coosa. Okay. And so we certainly want to take caution there because this tornado warning extends until 2:30. So that's another 45 minutes. Now at this point, the wording from the National Weather Service says a confirmed tornado was located near Lay Lake or about 8 miles south of Talladega Springs, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So that update came out 1 minute ago. They're saying that they have a confirmed tornado located near Lay Lake. Jason?
Okay, so we'll look at that using the debris tracker here and get a picture of what's going on. And that little hot spot right there that was north of Lay Dam, the spot that we had highlighted so often, that is where this is at the moment, and it's going to keep on tracking northeast, as Harmony said, about 35 miles per hour. So we'll go in close here, and yep, there it goes. The latest scan pulls this thing into Coosa County. There is some debris being detected on radar over Lay Lake in Coosa County. This has now passed out of Chilton County, so the risk of a tornado in Chilton County has passed from this particular storm. You're not clear, but this storm, the risk has passed. There's a lot of noisy view out here using this debris tracker. Sometimes things can trick the radar. It may be touching hilltops. You maybe get some reflection off of some trees or some buildings here and there, and that's what accounts for some of this hot spot. But that little area there is the spot where we think a tornado was probably detected by radar. Even if it was brief, it came right over the lake, about a mile north of Lay Dam, and now it is tracking into the northwestern part of Coosa County. So Weguffka, you would be the primary spot here of concern, but really it may be just a tad to the northwest of Weguffka and maybe a bit west of Stewartville here for the next 10 to 20 minutes as we are watching the storm come in. So you see Little Tom Road here, Sammy Guy Road, Coosa County Road 56, Camp Road. all these communities, neighborhoods along these roads, you need to be in a safe place right now. What does a safe place mean? Lowest floor, interior area of the house, be it a hallway or a bathroom, closet, something small that can protect you from the outside. If there is something still down here, it may not be that high-end thing where you have to be in a concrete bunker. This is the kind of day where many of these tornadoes, you can protect yourself just by being away from the windows and being in the middle of the structure and letting the structure protect you and not worrying about what may be outside. So just be in that safe place. Little Tom Road, Sammy Guy Road, Coosa County Road 56. Harmony?
So they have canceled that tornado warning for Chilton County. That's important, like you were just saying, that the threat didn't look very high for that particular area, but want to make note that they are still seeing some danger now. This is a new storm report I wanted to let you know about. This is from Marengo County. So these are all just downstream from Perry, from Bibb, from Chilton. These storms have a history of producing winds that have taken down trees and taken down power lines. So no matter what, there is a significant threat with these storms. Right now, they have canceled the tornado warning for Chilton County, but continuing to see that tornado warning for Coosa County. So just over that Chilton County and Coosa County border. The wording that I'm seeing, Jason, right now from the National Weather Service, it's certainly something that you have to take seriously. They wanted to say, and I repeat, a tornado is on the ground. It is radar indicated, but they want you to take cover now. This includes areas like Stewartville, Unity, Marble Valley, Lay Lake, Strickland, Crossroads, Mitchell Lake, and Paint Creek. So the storm system right now is moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And just about 5 minutes ago, they had that radar confirmed tornado located near Lay Lake, or about 8 miles south of Talladega Springs. That's what we have latest on the chat, Jason. You know, seeing these confirmations that a tornado was confirmed, again, at 1:47, so 1 minute ago, a confirmed tornado located near Deatsville. So Deatsville has been a hot spot, 9 miles north of Millbrook, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So now it's moving due east.
All right, and that's the storm that's down here. The storm that we are watching in Coosa County is this one that is west of Weguffka and west of Stewartville. It has had a brief tornado debris signature with it, and then you look down to the south, and there's the storm that's in Autauga County that's coming awfully close to the southern part of the Chilton County, or the Coosa County line here. This storm has had a history of producing some damage as it's crossing over the river. This may end up affecting southern Coosa, so we may end up with one storm north of Rockford and one storm south, and then you've still got to deal with this whopper that's coming in between that doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but it is still a very strong thunderstorm nonetheless over Chilton County. Let's back out here and give everybody the big view here for just a moment. Then we're going to focus back in on the tornado warning to the south. Heavy rain now coming to an end over Walker County, Tuscaloosa County. Some showers here over Fayette County. And those, they may be more than showers. They're downpours, but they're not persistent. So I don't think we have to worry about any additional flooding issues here close to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But Blount County, Etowah County, St. Clair County, Calhoun County, of course, Jefferson and Shelby, where we've already seen so much heavy rain. Watch out for some localized flooding in these areas. And then to the south, in Coosa County and now northern Elmore, what might become southern Coosa County too. 2 warnings here of supercells that are potentially producing tornadoes. One has had a history of at least a tornado debris signature. That is, it came across Lay Lake just north of the dam, and that's the one that's moving up into the northern part of Coosa County right now. So that's the big view. No severe weather from Calera and Tuscaloosa northward. It's all south of Shelby County and getting down toward the Chilton County area too. Here in, Coosa County. It's ended for Chilton County and primarily here in Coosa County. So let's go in close and we'll look at this. You're using WVTM 13 Live Doppler to look at the structure of the storm. We've got this Boeing segment that's coming through Fayetteville and headed right into the city of Sylacauga. Heavy rain, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts over southern Talladega County. That's going to be pretty common. Where the risk of a tornado is a very small spot here in the northern part of Coosa County along Marble Valley Road, Coosa County Road 56, Coosa County Road 55, and then up towards Stewartville. The storm itself is almost due west of Weguffka. Harmony?
Jason, I just wanted to make note, when you were zoomed in and you were showing that debris, the National Weather Service confirmed that. And so that's important to understand that just a few moments ago, they sent out an image saying, this is now a radar confirmed tornado. They're also picking up on that debris, and it's any color that's not red ultimately, or orange. It's a blue section. And when we talk about debris, we're saying that the storm is showing that there is something that's in the atmosphere that's not rain, it's not water, it's not hail, it's potentially loose boards, it's potentially debris scattered, possibly someone's potentially front porch, maybe even anything that you haven't gotten hunkered down from your Christmas decor that hasn't been down yet. And so this is an evolving situation, but the main player right now is in central Alabama. We're looking at as Coosa County really for the main player located near Marble Valley or near Talladega Springs. It's moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour right now, this warning that we have for Coosa County until 2:30. So still another 30 minutes to go. They're watching several different cells, especially south of Coosa County. And we're starting to see this trend. Jason, you can confirm too, because you've been tracking it alongside me, but everything's starting to move more eastward rather than towards the northeast. But that watch, that tornado watch of 4 areas of East Alabama extends till 8 p.m. So now what Jason has pulled up here, and I'll let him explain it to you, the Doppler winds, and he's got it, this is a great view right here. He's got it looped so you can actually see, and he'll explain the evolution of how these storms started to rotate in those signatures that we saw.
Right. Very often on days like this, you have a storm that cycles. It'll produce a tornado, and then the tornado lifts. It may be on the ground for a matter of a couple of minutes, and then it begins to broaden out like this. The circulation tightened up really tight right over Lay Lake. You see that? There may be some topography that helped to enhance that as it dropped down off of some of the higher terrain closer to 145 and then dropped down in the basin there. And now it's coming back up into some hilly, wooded areas here in northwestern Coosa County, and that may alone help to reduce some of that circulation. In fact, you can see the remnant of it right there where my finger is. Watch from Lay Dam to that point. That's where the tornado was. I think we have maybe new circulation developing out here to the east of that point. So old dying circulation, new intensifying circulation that's headed up towards Stewartville. So that's the Talladega County line. This storm is going to pass northwest of Weguffka. It's well north of Bentleyville and Rockford. Stewartville would be the next in the line. And that right there, you see Highway 231 and US Highway 280 in the corner of the screen here. Definitely seems to be a bit of a right mover. It's not moving exactly northeast. It's more of an east-northeast trend. So as we watch this, I'm going to back out momentarily and give you a little bit better storm track with some updated times. So again, this is probably going to show Sylacauga in the view, but I think this will stay south of the city of Sylacauga itself. So here comes the storm track. We'll pop that on. Watch the direction that it's been traveling, just like that right there. So I'm going to make a continuation of that movement at close to 30 miles per hour. So you get Stewartville, Sylacauga, and this would be downtown Sylacauga southward. I think closer to the Talladega County line, if it gets across the line whatsoever. So you don't have to go to a safe place in town right now in Sylacauga. Just know that it's going to be close by at about 2:19 p.m., especially on the south end of the city. Liberty Hill would be closer to 2:33 p.m., and then this would move over toward Clay County. Now, whether it can maintain this circulation all the way into Clay County remains to be seen, but northern Tallapoosa County and southern Clay County, as well as the far southern edge of Talladega County, south of the city of Sylacauga, need to be aware of what's happening here. And by the way, in Sylacauga itself, see that little spot right there, that little bowing segment where it almost looks like there's a punch happening? That's where stronger wind is getting down probably to the surface here between Fayetteville and Sylacauga. So you're probably going to get a good gust of wind in Sylacauga, especially on the west side of town here in a matter of minutes. But the east side of town, when we start getting into the higher terrain, that may also be a bit of an issue. So here's our rotation. Seems to be tightening again and maybe wrapping around. I think we almost have a meso low that's developed here, small scale area of low pressure. And that's what has given us this shape that we see with the rain at this moment. So we've got this snaking line of thunderstorms that rolls down toward Lay Lake, all the way to Lake Mitchell now, and then up through Coosa County and southern Talladega County. So let's bounce the map northward just a little bit so that we can get Sylacauga in the view. You can also see Childersburg. Very heavy rain, potentially some gusty winds right here. That's west of Sylacauga toward Fayetteville, coming right into the city, and then that will ultimately move over into Clay County. Now, if this is able to get far enough out ahead of what's happening down here, I think this definitely will stay south of Sylacauga. Harmony?
It does look like they are going to extend that into Talladega County, Jason.
Okay.
I want to just make note because we are watching this one particular storm cell, and it's great to have many different eyes on it, and because it has so much signs of rotation that we're going to keep tabs on it. So that may be extended into Talladega County. So Chilton, Coosa, it's starting to get a little bit quieter for you right now, but certainly don't let your guard down. These are areas like Childersburg and Sylacauga that are right now, I'd say about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a couple of days after New Year's Day, you're going about your business, maybe trying to take some Christmas decor down, but we've got some tornado warnings and they continue. Most of this has been moving more towards the east. And for instance, there's a new tornado warning for Elmore County until 2:30, but that's moving more towards the east. There could be a new tornado warning for Talladega County, so we're basically waiting on that, and it's from the exact same storm cell that Jason's tracking right now on the radar. Jason?
Thank you, Harmony. And what you're looking at there is northern Coosa and southern Talladega County. If this is issued into Talladega County, it may include part of the city of Sylacauga, just may not be in the entirety of it, because this part of the line, watch this as we put it in motion, you'll see here, that seems to be accelerating, and what will happen sometimes is it will drag that circulation along on the southern end of it. So you get this faster moving part. Once this is passed, that circulation is going to stay on the southern end of it. So once that heavy rain gets into Sylacauga, and again, there may be some pretty strong wind coming in here. Harmony?
A bit of good news. I mean, we don't want to be all the bad news bear, but they have allowed some of the tornado watches to expire in some of our West Alabama counties. And so as far as the tornado threat, there's still an ongoing, I think, aerial flood threat, but there are counties right now of West Alabama that have been removed from the tornado threat.
Okay, and that's just for now. There may be another threat later on this evening and tonight. Like I said, very complex situation developing today. So this is round one. We'll see how this affects what goes on later tonight into early Wednesday morning with round two. So a tornado warning in effect here for Coosa County because of the threat of a tornado. We did have a debris signature with it a little earlier. That seems to have gone by the wayside. I don't see that anymore. But we're going to go in very close here through the northern part of Coosa County and investigate this storm thoroughly so that you've got a good feel for where it is. So the rotating part of the storm would now be northeast of Marble Valley, approaching Coosa County 55 as well as Coosa County Highway 29. Stewartville would be one of the next communities in the path, and that being the county line, that's why the National Weather Service is considering adding southern Talladega County to this. It would likely be south of the Sylacauga-Fayetteville Highway over to Gants Quarry. You can see South Main, Highway 280 and Highway 231 coming south out of Sylacauga. So this is northern Coosa, and if you are south of that Sylacauga-Fayetteville Highway, just be on guard because you may need to scoot toward that severe weather place here in just a matter of minutes. We'll put this in motion, and you can see it's just a wavy line coming east of Marble Valley and up toward the Stewartville community. This is a very rural part of northern Coosa County, so it may be difficult to know if it did anything other than knock a few trees down out here in some of the hillsides. Hopefully that's all it's doing at this point. Harmony?
Hey, Jason, we've got some video that just came into the newsroom we think you may want to look at. Check this out. This is an overturned 18-wheeler, and this is exactly what Jason and I have been trying to reiterate, to stay off the roads. And right now, this is right around the 5920 interchange. We're talking about an 18-wheeler that's been overturned. It may be weather-related, but nonetheless, it looks like there's plenty of emergency managers and folks that are on the scene right now trying to get this resolved. But this is a major artery of central Alabama. There's the full screen view right now that you can see that that 18-wheeler has right now, it looks like it's basically been taken off the roadway right there on a hillside, and there looks like the fire truck is trying to drag it up and maybe tow it away. But this right now is a live view. We've got some of our traffic cameras up trying to look at some of the roads out there, Jason, and this is probably just kind of a prelude to what we can expect to see likely as this pouring down rain continues to plummet around I-65 this afternoon.
Yeah, that's at mile marker 106, so kind of on the west side of Birmingham. This is more than likely just a heavy rain kind of issue, and that's a whole nother issue that we have to deal with. But right now, I want to focus on the tornado warning in northern Chilton County, or northern Coosa County. This came out of Chilton County, crossed the lake. The threat for Chilton is over at the moment, but you're still under a watch. There are no additional rounds of heavy rain right now for Pickens or Tuscaloosa or Fayette, Walker or Jefferson once this is passed. But you can see all that heavy rain right there. Cook Springs up toward Ragland, moving into Calhoun County. You hadn't had much in Calhoun County or northern Talladega or Clay yet, but it is definitely on the way. And right now, I think somewhat good news for central Alabama is that the threat of severe weather is primarily going to be south of places like Clanton and Rockford in about an hour. For now, we still have to deal with this one storm that's prompting a tornado warning for northern Coosa, and it's coming very close to the Talladega County line. Here's one that's in northern Elmore County that is close to the southern Coosa County line, and both of those are aimed northeast. So Clay County, Talladega County, be on guard. Tallapoosa County, especially Alexander City down toward Lake Martin, you also need to be on guard. And then there is heavy rain following that. This is a zone here from Perry through Chilton, Coosa, Tallapoosa, Clay County, Randolph County, even Talladega, maybe parts of Shelby, where we could wind up with over 2 to 4 inches of rain. Northwest of there, I think it's a little bit less likely that we're going to add an additional 2 to 4, but given some of the flooding reports and how heavily that rain was coming down, it wouldn't be surprising if we already have more than 1 or 2 inches in some of those communities. So there's the new severe thunderstorm warning for southern Talladega County. That does include the city of Sylacauga, and that's for that strong wind threat that we were noting on radar just a few minutes ago, close to the Sylacauga-Fayetteville Highway. That's coming right up into town. Staying south of Talladega, staying south of Childersburg, south of places like Winterboro. Heavy rain coming through there, but the tornado threat and the severe weather threat is mainly close to Sylacauga and points south. We have been able to say Chilton County, no danger right now other than heavy rain. Bibb County, no danger other than rain right now. Same thing down toward Hale County and Marengo County. You are under a watch, but there are no immediate threats, as in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So be vigilant, but we are in a little bit better shape than we were just about 45 minutes ago in many of those places. So severe thunderstorm warning here for Talladega County. That is for the southern part of the county. We'll look at that closely and then keep our eyes down here on northern Coosa County, close to Stewartville. Boeing line segment right there coming up into Sylacauga. Let's go in close here so that we can see communities like Oak Grove. Up here around the Sylacauga water plant, Liberty Hill on Highway 148 east of Sylacauga. Just a big batch of rain and strong gusty winds moving through this section of Talladega County, and then you get over toward western Clay County. It's coming right down the pike there too, close to Alabama 148, and then up into the hills. You start to gain elevation really, really quickly when you get east of Sylacauga, and you come up here into Clay County. A lot of rough terrain makes it really hard to see. There's not much to see here anyway. It's a big black cloud with a lot of heavy rain and strong gusty winds that are coming through. So in Sylacauga right now, I want you to be indoors, be away from windows. Don't try to watch. There's nothing to see out there. It's just heavy rain and strong winds. You may lose power here, and if you do, understand that this is not a tornado warning. I don't think we're going to see widespread damage, but there certainly may be some power outages. So that is a live view from, is that Highway 77 in Talladega. So you can see the rain that's coming in. Traffic is moving along okay there. In fact, I'll bounce the map northward just a little bit so that we can see a bit more closely to where we're looking at right there. So Highway 77 coming out of Talladega. You can see that's just tremendous rainfall from Alpine down to Sylacauga, and then up through Vincent, Pell City, the city of Talladega, city of Lincoln, over to Munford. This is all moving your way. So there's our severe storm. Here's our storm that has the tornado warning attached to it. And so far, so good. Even though we did have a debris signature north of Lay Dam, I don't think we've had any additional confirmation of a tornado with that. So let's go in close here and check out what's going on in northern Coosa County. And then we're going to bounce back up into the Sylacauga area and keep an eye on that one. So here's where the rotation was. And based on our view here from WVTM 13 Live Doppler, that is almost a straight line of storms now. You want to see kinks in there if you're looking at the threat of a tornado. And there may still be something right in here, but it certainly does not look as significant as it did earlier. We'll go in with a slightly different look from the Birmingham NexRad, and that looks like where there may be some strong straight line winds cutting in on the backside of the storm, and the rotation would then be up here, northeast of County Road 242, and moving up toward the Stewartville community. So Stewartville is the next town in the path of this. Here's we'll look for rotation within the wind. One way to look at that, this looks like it has lost a lot of that significant rotation that it had earlier. That's an encouraging sign, but I don't think the threat is completely over here, because there's potential for some strong wind. North of Wegovka, over towards Stewartville. Highway 231 would be the next major road that this would cross. Not much of a tornado threat here now, but if you've been in that safe place, I want you to stay there for just a bit longer here in northern Coosa County over to Stewartville. If you're close to Lay Lake on that side of the county, if it takes you less than 5 minutes to get to the lake, then you are clear from that one. Harmony?
There is a new report here, and this is just kind of an ode to the straight line winds that we've been talking about, the straight line wind damage that's been associated with this weather event. This is Elmore County. There is reports of multiple power lines down and possibly a tree on a house. This is the 400 block of Lightwood Road. Again, this is in Elmore County, so keep in mind this is all right along the border of Coosa and Chilton. And so these are our neighbors to the south. These are our friends. They're going to cancel that warning for Coosa County that we were just talking about. This is closer to Talladega, so it looks like they're not going to extend it from Coosa into Talladega, but these storms are still a lot stronger Elmore southward. So anybody who is traveling or plans on traveling I-65, I would not get on the roadways at least for another couple of hours, especially in areas like I-65 South getting closer to I-85. And so that area getting closer to Barber County and Lee County and Bullock County, maybe even Troy and Tuskegee, the storms are moving eastward. They're going to continue that warning, again, for Elmo County, but they're going to cancel it for Coosa County. And so as far as tornado warnings, right at this very moment, there are no active tornado warnings, but Jason's zooming in right now to a severe thunderstorm warning that's still showing some pretty significant signs of broad rotation. Wouldn't you say, Jason?
Yeah.